Hi children, good evening everybody. So we are seeing prepositions. So in our last class what we have seen where to use above and where to use over. Okay, so for some questions both may be suitable, that you have to decide and choose yourself. Okay, so above should be used something for something which is not directly over the other, and over should be used for something which is touching some other things or which is covering some other things. And the madri we have seen many tips where to use above and over. Okay, so in this class we are going to see where to use the preposition below and under, right? So where you have to use below is, so below is the opposite of above. Okay, below is the opposite of above, and under is the opposite of over for horizontal movement at a lower level. So listen, so below is the opposite of above. Her head was below the level of the table, so nobody noticed her. Under is the opposite of over. So in the last class we have seen above and over. So below is opposite to above and under is opposite to over. Okay, so for horizontal movement at a lower level, so we have seen that over should be used for horizontal movement at a higher level, and also we have seen many other conditions where to use over. Okay, so a child places his toys under a blanket. A boy ran under the bridge when the river was dry. Okay, so let us come back to this after seeing some more about this, right? Okay, so look at this. Below is preferred when one thing is not directly under another. So what we have seen, above should be used when one thing is not directly over the other. அப்படி இருந்ததுன்னா we have that is which is not directly over the other. Likewise, which is not directly here, below should be used for the things which is not directly under another. Okay, so above should be used which is not directly over the other, and under should be used which is for something that is not directly under another. Okay, so below is preferred when one thing is not directly under another. First you should understand the meaning of this. Okay, look at the example. The sun disappeared below the horizon. You know what is mean by horizon, right? So the sun disappeared below the horizon. So here not the sun disappeared under the horizon. இங்க நாம என்ன சொல்லக்கூடாது, we should not say the sun disappeared under the horizon. This sentence is a wrong one. Okay, so the sun disappeared below the horizon. So why we should not use under here is because what is the condition? Below should be used when one thing is not directly under another. Okay, so here we cannot say that the sun disappeared below the horizon. Correcta, below the horizon exactly vertically we cannot say. Okay, so we have to use below here, and using under for the sentence is wrong, right? The climbers stopped several hundred meters below the top of the mountain. So the climbers stopped several hundred meters below the top of the mountain. So in this place we have to use below. So below is preferred when one thing is not directly under another. Okay, so likewise under is preferred when something is covered by what is over it. Okay, so already we have seen for above no touching, no movement. For over we can use, this is also one of the tips illaya. So for over with some touching, so with touching and with movement, for all for those things we can use over ங்கிற tips நம்ம above overலயே பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா. So here under is preferred when something is covered by what is over it. So listen, he was wearing a blue shirt under his sweater. Okay, so he was wearing a blue shirt under his sweater. So whether this blue shirt will be touching the sweater or not, definitely it will be touching. So it is covered by something, is it or not? So he was wearing a blue shirt under his sweater. So here we have to use under because we can prefer under for something which is covered by what is over it, right? The cat is under the bed. Okay, so the cat is under the bed. The whole, see, miss inge edum touch பண்ணாது, that is cat and bed will not be touching அப்படின்னு சொல்லலாம். Yes. Okay, so the cat is under bed. So here it will be below the what is that? It will be under the bed. Under the bed, and the bed க்கு கீழ தான் இருக்கும். Not அந்த பெட்டை தாண்டி வேற எங்கேயும் இருக்க போறதில்லை. So we can use under here. The whole village was under water. So in all these places we can use under. Okay, next one. In measurements of temperature and height we use below. Okay, so where we can use below is in measurements of temperature and height. See, first we have seen where to use below, next one is for under, and again next one is below. In measurements of temperature and height we use below. The temperature is 5 degrees below 0. Part of the city or below sea level. Okay, so in such measurements, that is in measurements of temperature and height. So here we can use below, right? Next one. To mean. Okay, so that is to mention or to mean or to refer less than or younger than. We use under. Okay, to mean, that is to mention or refer less than or younger than, we use under. There were under 10 students in the class. So usually நம்ம இங்க ஒரு mistake பண்ணுவோம் in our spoken. Usually நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுவோம், so casually இந்த இடத்துல நமக்கு belowங்கிற word தான் நம்ம mention பண்ணுவோம் இல்லையா. The children below the age of 15, the children below the age of 12, or the children below 5th standard are asked to come to the ground அப்படி நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம் generally, but that is a wrong one. What we have to use, we have to use under. Okay, so there were under 10 students in the class. Okay, not there were below 10 students in the class. So நம்ம below 10 students தான் இவ்வளோ நல்லா யூஸ் பண்ணியிருப்போம், but that is a wrong usage. What we have to use, we have to use under. So there were under 10 students in the class. Okay, next one. You can't get a driving license if you are under 18. Not, you cannot get a driving license if you are below 18. So நம்ம இப்படி யூஸ் பண்ணக்கூடாது. That is for referring something which is less than or younger than. Okay, less than or younger than mean பண்ற எதுக்குமே நம்ம என்ன யூஸ் பண்ணக்கூடாது, we should not use below, we have to use under. So you can look at this example. So there were below 10 students in the class. You can't get a driving license if you are below 18 அப்படிங்கிற சென்டென்ஸ்லாம் it is wrong usage. So what is correct is there were under 10 students in the class. You can't get a driving license if you are under 18. Okay, so we have to use under. So see, look at this one. Both below and under can mean lower than. Okay, so in the below and ரெண்டு prepositionுமே என்ன meaning it can refer is, it can mean lower than. See, the knives are in the cupboard under the sink, or the knives are in the cupboard below the sink. So, in the Madri sentences, we can use both below and under. So, there are some sentences, exceptional sentences, where you can use both below and under. You have to differentiate where to use below and where to use under, or whether both will be correct. Okay. But this one also, there is a similar difference between above and over. So last class we above over பார்த்தோம். Above is used in measurements of temperature and height. Over is used to express ideas such as older than and more than. So நாம என்ன பார்த்தோம்? So already we have seen under is opposite to over. So under எங்க யூஸ் பண்ணலாம்னு பார்த்தோம்? For younger than or less than. For less than or younger than நம்ம under யூஸ் பண்ணலான்னு பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா? So அதே மாதிரி over can be used for older than and more than. So you can look at this example. You have to be over 18 to see that film. Okay. See, look at this one also. We use under to talk about something that is below or lower than something else. The cat is under the table. His shoes were under his bed. Okay, இங்க ஏன் நாம below use பண்ணல அப்படினா, because below should be used in the places which is not directly under. Okay, so when we use under, we can also mean that one thing is touching or covering. So under is opposite to over. Over எதுக்கு யூஸ் பண்ணலாம்? For something touching and for something which is covering. Okay, so when we use under, we can also mean that one thing is touching or covering something else. We do not use below in this way. So இந்த மாதிரி நம்ம below யூஸ் பண்ண முடியாது. ஏன்னா அந்த மாதிரி பிளேஸ்லஸ்ல நம்ம above-ஐயும் யூஸ் பண்ண முடியாது. Okay, so above, over, below, under. இல்லைனா above and below, over and under நீங்க compare பண்ணி படிச்சீங்கன்னா it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, so when we use under, we can also mean that one thing is touching or covering something else. We do not use below in this way. So இந்த மாதிரி நம்ம below-வை யூஸ் பண்ண முடியாது. The wreck of the Titanic still remains under the sea. Okay, note it, we cannot use below here. இங்க நம்ம below யூஸ் பண்ணக்கூடாது. The wreck of the Titanic still remains under the sea. அந்த சென்டென்ஸோட மீனிங் என்ன? டைட்டானிக் ஷிப் உடைஞ்சு போனதோட அதோட பார்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் இன்னும் சீக்கு கீழே இருக்கு. Okay, so இங்க என்ன யூஸ் பண்ணக்கூடாது? We cannot use, it is still below the sea அப்படி நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ண கூடாது, because we cannot say that it is directly and under the sea. நம்ம அப்படி சொல்ல முடியாது இல்லையா? So we cannot use below here. Okay, look at the next one. He had hidden the money under the floorboards, not below the floorboards. Okay, see, for age we use under, not below, to refer to age. So already we have seen that for referring to the age, that is for younger than or older than. அது பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா? older thanக்கு நம்ம என்ன யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம்? over யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம் இல்லையா? So below less thanக்கு என்ன யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம்னு பார்த்திருந்தோம். already we have seen we have to use under. Okay, so இங்க என்ன யூஸ் பண்ணக்கூடாது? We should not use below. Okay, for referring to age. We have to be under 18. Okay, அதுவே ஓவர்னா என்ன சொல்லலாம்? This is less than இல்லையா? அதுவே more than அப்படின்னா நம்ம அங்கே என்ன யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம்? ஓவருங்கிற preposition யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம். less thanக்கு under யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம். more thanக்கு we will be using over. Okay, so you have to be under 18 to get an allowance. They have 3 children under the age of 5. Okay, so in this places, for referring to age lesser than, we have to use under, and for referring to the age more than, that is older than, we have to use over. Okay, so below is above and So above and below can be used in opposite places. Okay, அதே மாதிரி over and under can be used in opposite places. Okay, so in some places both above and below can be, above and over can be used in some places. அதே மாதிரி in some sentences both below and under can be used. Okay, you should not confuse. You have to look at the meaning of the sentence and then you have to find what will be appropriate in those sentences. Okay. So below is the opposite of above. We have seen already. Her head was below the level of the table, so nobody noticed her. Next, under is the opposite of over. Okay, so under can be used in the places for horizontal movement at lower level. இங்கே நாம என்ன பார்த்தோம்? For horizontal movement at higher level. Okay, so a child places his toys under a blanket. A boy ran under the bridge when the river was dry. Okay, so these are all the places where we have. So this is simple in explanation. இதுக்கு மேல இதுக்கு ஒன்றும் பெருசா explanation கொடுக்க முடியாது. Okay, for below and underக்கு இதை விட இன்னும் பெட்டரான explanation cannot be given. What you have to do is you have to understand by looking at lots of example. Or இன்னொரு என்ன பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னா you can compare above and below and also you can compare over and under. அப்படி compare பண்ணி பார்த்தீங்கனாலும் ஏன்னா ரெண்டுமே ஆப்போசிட்டாக இருக்கும். ஓகே, ஸோ அப்படி கம்பேர் பண்ணி பார்த்தீங்கனாலும் you can have better understanding because more than this nothing can be explained. Okay, you have to understand only from the examples and if you are answering many examples you can have a better understanding. Okay, so let me give you some exercise to complete so that you can understand better, right? Okay, thank you.